Okay.
All right, this is group 4. We're meeting to discuss assignment 5 of the basic guide to supervision and instructional leadership. Assignment 5 was chapter 9. After reading the teacher description and situation in role play 9.1 on page 123, respond to the following prompt. As Marcus supervisor, construct a response that demonstrates your understanding of the collaborative continuum of behaviors. What will you say to Marcus, and what will you do to assist him? All right.
Okay, I can start this one. I don't mind. As a supervisor or potential supervisor, I saw that this situation may or may not be seen as a problem because Marcus has been teaching art to his students, but in isolation from other content areas. So this can be seen as an understanding and verifying his perception of the problem. So as a supervisor, my perception of the problem would be that some teachers may have little to no experience teaching art in the classroom, but in Marcus's case, it is perceived that he's able to teach art in isolation, but will likely need PD to integrate with other subject areas.
Yeah, because I don't think you couldn't ask me to try to teach art. I don't think I would not be really good at it.
See, the way I looked at it, I pulled up a six step program. I think the step 1 was a greeting. I know a lot of it sounds really stupid, but a lot of times when you're working with people, it's, hey, get this done, or hey, look at that, or hey, whatever else. I think it's important to start it off with a greeting. Hello, how are you? It sounds stupid, but whatever. So step 2, I would preface the discussion with the idea that the administrator has very little understanding of art from an educational perspective. I think it's important here that, like, it doesn't matter if the admin has an arts background. Like, you want Marcus to feel like he's got something that he can bring to the table, and the school needs him or wants him to be a part of our success, if that makes sense. So it's not like, hey, we're going to dump extra work on you because you're qualified. It's, hey, we need you to help us be successful because, I don't have the expertise. And I think that that's a really good way, because, like, a lot of teachers are really talented and really capable. And I think it's important as an administrator to acknowledge that and be cognizant of that when we're telling them to do things, or asking them to do things. I think step 3 was to hear out Marcus's idea, hear his ideas out, because he says he has some ideas, but he needs some more help. You can take that 2 ways. Number 1, he actually needs more help, or he has some ideas, but he's not trying to talk to his principal or his boss in such a way to say, hey, here's the best thing to do, here's what we're going to do. Does that make sense? So if he's sort of couching it with, hey, I'd like to get your input, it's important to sort of walk that line. Does that make sense? Like, because he's asking for help, he's able to circumvent any misunderstanding by admin. Because, like, there have been times in my career when I've talked to admin and said, hey, look, here's my idea, here's what I think is really cool, we should do this. And they're like, are you trying to tell me how to do my job? For whatever reason. Number 4, I think it's important to go to the arts education standards, because we're talking about integrating arts in education or in the classroom. If we follow the state, district, if we follow the relevant standards, and no matter how we integrate it, we're going to be covered, because we can show how and why it matches up with the standards that have been laid out by the district, state, or whatever. Step 5 was to work collaboratively to develop a series of activities that can be used in a variety of class situations. Like, Marcus is our key teacher. He's our point man, because he's the one that's got the experience. But if we can create, like I said, a series of activities that can be implemented to say, hey, look, we are implementing art in the classroom. Here's what this looks like. And, also flesh out, what do you mean by art? Like, are you talking visual arts, music, dance, creative processes? I mean, there's a lot that goes into arts. And if we're able to work with Marcus to come up with, like, little chunks and little activities that can be used in other classrooms with minimal training, that's a way for us to get on board with, get our school on board. Number 6 is to export these art integration activities into a format that can be easily digested by staff. The concept here is that we use Marcus to come up with these, little one-off activities that can be integrated regardless of subject area or grade level or whatever. They're sort of like basic templates And then, you can do a whole staff professional development that's like 10 minutes or less. Hey, next time you're working on like vocabulary, you can use this. Next time you're working on these sort of generic type assignments, here's like an art component that you could put in. That was kind of my thought process on it. I'm going to let somebody else talk.
Well, I was looking at the collaborative continuum of behaviors and reading through where it says the supervisor encourages the teacher to present his or her own ideas, yet the supervisor also gives her own views in an honest and straightforward manner. But some supervisors are not like that. Like, some of them don't want you to kind of, I've never worked for somebody like that, but I kind of could see where maybe some supervisors don't want you to, they want you to do it their way and not your own way. But that's not, I mean, as far as him doing, putting art into, he had already put it into, he taught self-contained art in a self-contained class.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Okay, I'm making sure.
Yes.
But I agree with that. He would probably need some PD on how to integrate it through into the other subject areas. And he would probably be a good one to probably teach other teachers how to, if they had to teach art, how to actually do things like, you were talking about, David, it may be different types of art. But as far as like, I thought of art like actual art, like the drawing, the all that kind of stuff. So that's what I was thinking. I wouldn't be able to teach that, or to probably how they would like it. But so we might have touched on some of this, but what would you say to Marcus, and how would you assist him?
I guess I'm going to skip around on the continuum of supervisory behavior. So, giving my own ideas. So, what can be done is you can facilitate an art PD, but on how to integrate it with others, also with the assistance of ideas of others. So basically, giving him a leadership role, and that's part of being an effective leader. You're encouraging others to be leaders. But like you said, David, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, be a breakout session where it does break out into the visual arts. What would it look like? Integrated music, PE, and so have you. So that was my thinking on that. I'm trying to see, did I put anything else down?
Yeah, that's what I was looking.
Yeah. Trying not to be repetitive here.
Right. Did you notice, to me on this one, on this continuum, it's more of a teacher role than the other two we talked about last week, than a supervisor role.
Yeah, and it might be because of the issue itself, or I guess the problem itself.
Okay.
Because it's not like the supervisor saw a problem within him, but I'm trying to think of the right way to word this. You see what I'm saying? It's not really a problem.
Right. It's not
coming from him.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like it was the school district's
right. Mm-hmm.
fault, not fault, but it was their decision to eliminate art. So he had to adjust to that decision.
Right. And I guess what it is, the conversation, I guess, that was in the hallway, you probably have some teachers that have little to no experience teaching art in the classroom.
Right.
So with his ideas and the ideas of others, see what things we can put in place so that they can integrate it. across the content areas.
Yeah, because I don't think, like, in this situation, one person would not be able to, it has to be a team effort kind of thing.
Right.
You wouldn't be able to do it by itself, or the supervisor. I mean, the supervisor knew about art, but, you know, you had a whole staff that didn't know anything about art. That would be kind of difficult to you would have to work as a team.
Right. And that'll be a good place to also do a survey. How comfortable do you feel about teaching art in the classroom, isolated, teaching across the content areas? What ideas do you have about art? And the PD can be formed that way. And let me see.
Well, and I thought about, you could, like, in the classroom, you may have teachers team up together and do an art lesson together.
Right.
You could have, if Marcus, you had two, like, say, okay, there was 4 teachers in 3rd grade, and 2 of them knew a lot about art. Well, have those 2 kind of lead and facilitate with the other 2 teachers, kind of thing, and join those classes.
Right. And also, I guess, seek the feedback, see what it looks like in other districts as well, if they were doing that already.
I think it's kind of interesting that, you know, when you look at what's, you know, we shouldn't teach to the test, right? But if it's funny because, like, in education, backward design says that you begin with the end in mind, right? So you begin with, like, what you want your student to be able to do before you start to teach them. And it's just funny because they're cutting funding and support for the arts, right? And they're saying, oh, well, now you can just integrate it in the classroom. And, you know, it's funny because I think about maybe in the 8th grade, like, we have a class of students who are taking Algebra 1. They're tested in Algebra 1, and they're also tested in 8th grade math. And I just think it's interesting when we look at what the state or what the district is mandating in terms of what we're going to be spending class time on. And then at the same time, they aren't assessing it, if that makes sense. Because how many teachers, like, if I'm an English teacher and my kids are really struggling to read, I want them to be able to read. And, you know, there might be some teachers out there who say, you know, I can't prioritize this because I'm struggling to get through the content that they are going to be assessed on. So, you know, maybe this is a little bit off topic, but what's your guys' perspective on the role of the arts? And, you know, is more integration better? Or, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's a bad question. Like,
I see what you're saying.
It's a bad question.
No, you're fine, because actually that's very fitting to, you know, them talking about cutting arts. Hopefully they don't, because I'll say this: at my school, our music teacher does a phenomenal job. Like, those students that have behavior concerns, they will go to her classroom and give her no problem at all. But back in the regular ed classroom, it's a different story.
Right. Well, and it's just interesting because it's like, oh, well, you know, our school mission and vision statement is to provide, you know, something about well-rounded, you know, citizens and leaders, and it's something generic. Yeah, it's something generic to that end. And then it's like, yeah, you know, we want these students to be worldly and to have different perspectives and contribute to society, but we're going to cut arts, and it's going to be something that the regular ed classroom teacher is going to be responsible for rather than a specialist. You know, and I just think that that's interesting.
And I don't think it's fair to the teacher, like the general ed teacher, a regular ed teacher, for her to have to do something that she may not be comfortable with doing.
Right.
Well, and I agree. I have a degree in history. I'm very confident in history. I will talk about history, and we can do cool stuff, and we can do hands-on type stuff, and we can have an enriching, engaging lesson. However, if you put me up there and you want me to incorporate some type of dance, like, you know, I'm going to be out of my comfort zone, and I don't know if I'm going to be effective. You know, like, you know, I get up there and I do the choo-choo train. You know, this is where I live, right? This is my safe zone. But you know, and I guess that's off topic, like I said, but, you know, just something to think about. Because, you know, and as go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking it might go to that one day in our career. It might be where they don't have arts anymore or music, and you have to incorporate it in the rest of all the other stuff that you have to do. Because, I mean, within the day, you have a lot of things to take care of. I mean, and there's a lot of things going on day to day already, and then you add another subject in there. It's going to make all the teachers kind of go ahead and get out, or just make it very
right. And then if we're incorporating art, is this something I do with my home base? Is this something I do with my AIM enrichment period that I'm already using for remediation? What? I don't know. We can move on. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here.
No, you're not, because the thing about it, if that goes back to the collaboration piece, we don't know what direction it's headed in. Is it going to be because, we don't want to see them lose their job? So is it going to be them coming in the classroom? Or are you collaborating, creating lesson plans together?
right.
That sort of thing. So,
It'll be.
but that's understandable. No, you weren't off topic.
Okay.
Right on it.
I thought you were too. So as far as the system, I mean, I think we've already covered pretty much the whole thing, but I think all of us pretty much said giving him that extra PD, or giving him the PD and then having him come back and do a leadership role for the school for a PD, like 15, 20 minutes. But anybody got anything else for this assignment?
No, I think we pretty much got it.
Okay. Do y'all want me to stop recording and go to the next one, or stop recording and then we come back to this link and do the next assignment, or do it all one?
I think we should probably do another link.
Okay.
Just do the separate link.
Yeah, it's separate videos. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay.